first time in Texas. This is exactly, right? And not only is it his first time in Texas, he has been presented with a bottle of Tito's vodka. I mean, how great is that? This is going to be really, really fun. So please, big Texas round of applause for the legendary Udo Kier. How about a standing ovation? Here he is, first time in Texas. Yes, sir. That's what I like.
So here I am, and it's the first time I'm in Texas, and unfortunately I only have a beautiful room up here, but I have a lot of airplanes in my brain already, the sound all the time, so I put a shower on all night, so I hear the waterfall, I think I'm somewhere else. So that's the story, and let me get the man off my shoulder.
I like the man. You guys like the man on your shoulder?
Somebody gave it to me yesterday. There's somebody here at the convention who makes these little people. Me, 1973, a vampire. And then, you know, I had to be, I always say I was born a vampire. And I lived like since for thousands of years. So there you have it. But I have to make it as a horror film. I just realized that I have to be up to date. So I'm going to make a film myself. I have planned it last week. And it's called Homage. The first homage is to Alfred Hitchcock. And I play the old lady in the house who is listening to the tape how to hold the knife. And the second episode is a homage to John Wayne. I have a ranch in America and I have a plastic horse because it's called Lars von Trier. And my horse, when I have a photo shoot, I put the horse, it's life size, in brown, and I put some hay in my hand, and I feed the plastic horse. And the third episode is homage to David Lynch, because I have also a barn with furniture from the thrift store, green velvet I call it, because the couches are green velvet, not blue. And then I will just take telephone calls like Mr. Blake. I'm at your house. It's going to be 3 episodes, each one is 30 minutes. It's going to be my first film, and now I'm free. I can do what I want. I don't have to think about what people think. If I just study at the moment. I'm buying a new house, and there's an old lady living there. So I study her, and she has little slippers. It says underneath Ross, $9.50. So I'm studying the woman already, and the way her tits are, of course, low. And the curtains, and on top of the curtains, the little flowers, plastic flowers. So I bought the house actually to do this film. So she's moving out in 1 month, and I said, you don't have to get rid of the furniture, leave everything like this. So I will sit in a rocking chair and feet up with the little price tag from Ross. And then she goes like to the machine and she hears the voice, which I do of course, of Mr. Perkins. Use the knife like that, no, not like that. Take it in your left hand and look at the shadows on the wall. So that's what I'm doing, and because you know I still make movies. So I'm not coming to convention because I have to. I'm still making movies. In Vienna, a TV show which couldn't be happening in Germany because I'm a leading man and I have a lot of money. My wife pays a doctor to kill me, so he inject me something wrong. My son is fucking my daughter, and I do it from behind so she doesn't get pregnant. And my wife has an affair with my other son. So that's how 8 hours of episodes called Old Money. And I did a film just now I finished in Ireland, a beautiful country. They know how to drink, I tell you. And beautiful countryside. And it's amazing because they have so many sheep, the animal, that they have to color them. So they know the neighbor knows, this is the red one, this is not mine. So they have the blue one is mine. So they all drive to the countryside and see all the animals having little marks of color. So, and what else did I do? I'm making Iron Sky #2. This time my role is a little bigger. And a lot of people say, but you died in the first one. I said, no, I just was knocked out. Because I have a little device in my pocket and I go like that and I beam myself back to the moon. So the second film is taking place inside the Earth with dinosaurs. And I have first a kind of a face like made out of clay. And slowly I discover, you can see that's me. Because I like the chocolate, like in the first film, because people ask me, I don't know who had seen here Iron Sky, but when people ask me, how was it? How is the story? It's very simple. Werner von Braun, before the Americans took him to America, he had his favorite German sent to the moon. And my mother was one of the favorite women, and she was a very good-looking woman. So I was born on the moon, and everybody wanted to have sex with my mother, so they brought me chocolate. So I became the sweet leader on the moon. That's how I explain the story.
You know what? I'm not a big fan of reality shows, but I would totally watch a reality show with you.
I have stories. Like I did an interview in Zurich, a very beautiful restaurant, and the journalist was so fast, best paper. He said, Mr. Kier, I have one question. When you were the sex toy with Madonna, how did it look under her skirt? I said, very organized. Next day, the paper said, well, I did a lot of interviews, so somebody said the pussy of Madonna looked organized. This is unbelievable. So, I have a lot of stories. When I worked with Pamela Anderson in barbed wire, I said to the director, you know, she's so, first of all, she has so much hair, I'm going to shave my hair off. Secondly, I said, I would like to smell her all the time, even from a far distance. So the whole movie I was doing it. You know, actors have to invent things because how can you beat Pamela Anderson or Madonna? I made also a video with Nicole Smith. I like this blonde women because I'm a generation of black and white movies, and in the old days in America, the woman was always smaller than the man, and she was always by the kiss. Blonde hair was hanging back and she was looking after the man. So I like all these blonde women. There isn't anyone now. I had them all also. Pamela, Madonna, Nicole Smith, what else?
Were these girls organized?
I know, when I met Nicole Smith the first day, I said, excuse me. She didn't know me. I said, excuse me. Could I just put my hand on your chest for a moment? So she said, I'll go ahead. So they came even more out. We opened to me and I lied on it, and it was beautiful. At least I can say I was resting on the chest of and he calls me.
That's pretty amazing. You know, you definitely have some of the best stories, and you've worked with so many people. I mean, you know, obviously you're talking about there's Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura, and then of course Wesley Snipes and Blade, and so many great directors as well. Have you thought about writing a book about all these?
No, because of the biographies I have read of other people, they all lie. So my biography is going to be the truth, and it will be when I die. 1 week later it will come out, and the money goes to a good cause of AIDS Foundation or heart surgery, whatever. Because I could not write a book and lie. You know, it's like Marlene Dietrich said she never had a sister. And everybody knows she has a sister, and she was the daughter of a general. It's not true. So people making up, or Sophia Loren says she likes spaghetti, but she has to vomit. If she goes to the bathroom, take her finger and her mouth to vomit out the spaghetti, and they say, "Why did you eat it?" Go to the bathroom to vomit. Anyway, I would say the truth, and I have a lot of stories because I'm learning all the time, even after internet knows more about me than I know about myself. And it's more than 200 films. I mean, sometimes I see films that never taught me that I'm going to be in it. Like, there is a film called The Final Curtain, where it's a great story, where Ed Wood is dying and the coffin opens and Bela Lugosi comes out and says, "I help you. Let's make another movie, our last movie." That's why it's called The Final Curtain. I don't know that movie, but you know, from the internet, I go under my name, IMDb, and say, "Oh, I'm going to do a film where," and so there are no more. But I'm still learning. I'm still watching. I'm very, how do you say that? Well, I'm a happy person actually, because I never wrote a letter to a director, but I worked because when I was working with Fassbinder, and some famous people wrote letters, and he couldn't speak English, so I translated them, and I said, "What should we do?" Throw them away. Because the director wants, I mean, imagine if I go to David Lynch and say, "I would like to work with you," and he would say to me, "Who doesn't?" I would be going around. So I say to directors who I like to work with, "I like your movies." Boom, 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 boom. Okay, see you. So if they like me, then they know I like the movies and I work with them. But I'm a very, very lucky person because I was sitting in an airplane, as a little story. I was sitting in an airplane and next to me was an American man. And he said, "What do you do?" Like all Americans say, "How much money you have in the bank?" "What do you do?" I said, "I'm an actor." It was at the beginning of my career. And when I said I'm an actor, at the same time I had a photograph of myself, a headshot. And he said, "Oh, interesting. Give me your number." And he wrote it in his passport on the last page. American passport, last page, no other number, only my number on the bottom. And I said, "Wow, who are you?" He said, "I'm Paul Morrissey, I work for Andy Warhol." And I said, "Okay." And months later, I got a call from Paul Morrissey. It was my cell phone, it's the home phone. No fax machine, nothing, 73. And you have to write a letter. And he said, "Well, I'm doing a little film for Carlo Ponti in Rome. And Polanski gave me all the technology of 3D, and I have a little role for you." He said, "The film is Frankenstein, and I have a little role for you." And I said, "Oh, great. Wow. What do I play?" He said, "Frankenstein." So then there was a press conference in Munich, right? Stranger, the people, the press, German press, they knew me a little bit from Mark of the Devil, but they didn't take that film serious. And then I was sitting at the hotel table somewhere, and then they asked him, Mr. Morrissey, you're doing Frankenstein. Who's going to play Frankenstein? And the famous Michelangelo hand came, and then Mr. Kier. Ah, you should have seen the room. Oh, Mr. Kier, why don't you sit here with us? I mean, I can't be happy with the interview, so every single star was born. And when we did the movie, which is unbelievable, we made the movie in 3D for $300,000, 3-week shooting. And I mean, today you can only make a video for the music video. And Dracula is supposed to be somebody else. Actually, the monster from Frankenstein is supposed to be the actor who plays Dracula. And then the last day of my fame with Frankenstein, I went to the Cinecittà, Italy, the casino, and then Fellini was shooting next door, so all the people were skinny or big breasts or anything abnormal. And I was sitting there as Dr. Frankenstein, being sad, having a little wine. And then Paul Morrissey came in and said, well, I guess we have a German Dracula. And I said, who? He said, you, but you have to lose 20 pounds in 1 week. I said, no problem. So, ambitious actor? No, of course not. So not only Robert De Niro prepares himself, also I did. So I had only salad leaves and water. That's when we start shooting. I'm sitting in a wheelchair because I could not stand up anymore. Preparation for the career.
Now, Andy Warhol's name was on these films, but did he have much interaction with, I heard he didn't have much to do with these films, or did you ever even see him much around?
Well, I saw him before because that was my moment where I moved from normal newspaper to Glamour, Vogue. I was in the high class paper all of a sudden, and Andy came just with his little Dachshund called Archibald, and we took pictures and of course standing there in front of Cinecittà. He had only one idea, and the Italians didn't take that idea, which I loved that idea. He wanted that Dracula has a hat on all the time, and he has shiny pants, and at the end of the pants a little drop. And I said, well, that's great. I just go walking around talking, and you are a virgin? You know. And I'm a virgin, I said, you know the film, that's why I vomit all the time, because they were not virgin, but I interviewed them and I said, are you a virgin? Yes. I said, nobody touched you there? No, not even the doctor. So then I bite and then I vomit because they're not virgin. So that's how I made my two first horror films. And then, I mean, Mark of the Devil was not a real horror film, just it was cleverly marketed. Because, come in, we have plenty of room. You're late. I'm not saying the same story again. You missed it. And the Mark of the Devil was clever marketing because you got the ticket, when you bought the ticket, you got a vomiting bag. And the vomiting bag is very expensive. They're made copies. The original is unpayable. Can you imagine? You get a ticket and you get a vomiting bag and say, well, if you vomit, please don't do it in the cinema, just take my bag. And so that was actually my first color film. And I was really, when I was a young man and we did not have money, I was born at the end of the war. So I went to London to learn English because I couldn't go to high school. And then I was really discovered. Hey you, would you like to be in a movie? And I made my first movie called Road to Saint-Tropez. And that was the first movie, and I was very lucky, as I said before, and I was learning all the time. I'd never been to acting school, but I became a professor of teaching theory of acting because I developed my own style.
Now I know we're going to open it up to questions. Yes, please.
Texas.
I like it. Now, we're going to get to questions in just a moment, but I have to check one more thing.
Yes, please do.
Because you said that.
How many hours do you have?
Yeah. How long are we at? All right. Because not everything is true online, but I read that when you were born, it was in a hospital.
Okay, let me tell the story.
Okay.
I was born October 14th, 1944, which was the end of the war. And my mother in the ambulance the driver wanted to take the car to a bridge, and just in front the bridge collapsed. And he said, "Don't worry, young lady, I'll take you, take another bridge," which he did. And I was born. And I was 1 hour old, and the nurse was collecting all the babies, the newborn babies, to wash them. And my mother said, because I had no father, I mean, she had no husband, so I'm a, how do you call it, bastard? Yeah, I'm a bastard. So then she said, "Could I have you a little bit longer?" And the nurse said yes, and then she took all the other babies in a room on the table, and my mother told me much later, of course, when I was 15, that the wall came down and there was an alarm, the war. I don't know who bombed me, the Americans or the British, doesn't matter, English-speaking people. Whatever. And the wall came down, and the nurse jumped over all the babies, everybody dead. And my mother was lucky because her bed was in a corner, so she was protected. And sometimes I have this vision. She was holding me in one hand, and with the other hand she was making a hole to the gravel. And I sometimes see that image of some hospital totally on his toes, and a hand is waving. So I don't know who freed me. Again, I don't know was it the British people or the American people, but I got free and very dramatically born, so maybe there was the sign to be a lifetime, maybe.
Isn't that a crazy story? We're going to open it up to questions here, so I think the
Already?
Well, I don't know. We're just sitting here and drinking. Tell stories.
Just a little bit.
Just
For the good. Okay, so question.
Yes, so if you have a question, I tell you what, because we'd probably like to see you up close, come on up here, and I'll hand you this mic, and you can ask the best question.
Imagine if sitting over there, you have to go all the way, but you are doing the meantime.
It's there. Here you are, sir.
Hello.
Hello, real pleasure. What was it like on Suspiria?
Suspiria was in Munich. I was working with Fassbinder, and I heard that Dario Argento is in town. And we met in a hotel, like actors meet, who don't live in the city, in a hotel. And he offered me this part. And I read the script, and I realized that my part was a short part, but I had the most things to say in the whole film. And of course, Jessica Harper, Phantom of the Opera, I liked her. And I liked the film, I liked the work, and also I just made a movie with him which is not so interesting than Suspiria, called The Third Mother, with Asia, who I like Asia Argento very much because she's she doesn't fit Hollywood at all, because she's real. And so it was okay. I mean, when you make movies, you don't calculate how it's going to be, and you be pleasant. I always say in interviews, I made 200 films or more, 100 are bad. I made some of them I haven't even seen. 50 are okay, and 50 are very good. So I think if you can say, I made in my life 50 good films. I mean, I made 10 films with Lars von Trier, Wim Wenders, Werner Herzog, Gers von Trier. So I was a lucky man to make, but it's never a calculation. That's when when sometimes the director sent me a script and said, we're making a cult film. I said, what do you mean you're making a cult film? Doesn't the audience decide that after the film is done? You're telling me you're making a cult film, again, make it by yourself. You know, it's like, you never know. You never know. I made films like Pinocchio with Martin Landau, where I thought, wow, or Shadow of the Vampire. And I made film, for example, Shadow of the Vampire. I didn't like the shooting, and Willem Dafoe was nominated for the Oscar. So you never know. I made films, and now I'm coming to the point when I work with a director and I realize he is no good, and he wants me to do something which is no good, then I don't want to confront him in front of the whole team, and I always say to the director, you know what you told me last night? He didn't tell me anything. You know what you told me last night? Let's try it that way. And then I do my way, and no director has ever said, no, I was not done. I said, did it work? You told me last night I should do it maybe more like that. And I do it because I know it's wrong what he tells me to do. And then, you know, because you have also, when you're working movies, there are some directors in the world, like Lars von Trier, for example. I would walk from that wall to that wall, and people will never forget that. When I did Melancholia, and we had all the people, Gainsbourg, Charlotte Rampling, everybody was, and he said to me, Udo, I want that you go to the room and you don't want to see Kirsten dance. What would you do? And I was thinking, I said, I would put my hand up in front of my face, which I did. And believe it or not, The Guardian, which is a very serious magazine in England, put me on the wish list for Best Supporting Part for the Oscar because my hand movement. The next day, when the film came out in Cannes, at the festival, people were all, I had a couple coming to me and said, thank you, Mr. Kier. My wife and myself, we went all night yesterday to the house like that. So it's always, as an actor, it's not the big numbers like the British actors, some of them, who starts with their back to the camera by the chimney, and then they breathe and talk, and they turn slowly around, and they look at the floor, they don't even look at anybody, and finally they're there. No, it's always the little things, the unexpected things. For example, the film Theatre Bizarre, which is here also presented, I said to the director, I only take the part, I play a puppet without the strings. I said, I only play it if I can kill a fly. What do you mean? I said, I want to kill a fly like nobody ever has seen to kill a fly. I said, how would you do that? I said, look, first of all, you go like that and you have to fly. I mean, nobody on screen sees if you have it or not. You just have it. And then I said, you put some glue in my hand, and we put a real live fly there. And in close-up in front of my face, I take the sound and and then you put some sound on it, and that people will be shocked. And everybody has tried at least to kill a fly. And so you have to always come up with little things. I have seen movies, for example, with Marlon Brando, Fleet Johnny Depp. I forgot the whole movie, but when Marlon Brando goes to the grandmother of Johnny Depp, she has a fly trap. And she talks and plays around with it, and all of a sudden, boom, she killed the fly. It's the only thing I remember. So it's not, I remember the great Marlon Brando, I mean, you know, he was great, heaven save his soul. And it's always the little things. So now another question.
Yes, you know what, I'm going to make it easier. I'm going to go bring the mic to people. How about that?
Yes, you should have music.
See? You should get Yes, here we go. Oh, I'll come to you over here. There you go. Hello.
Hello. You just mentioned previously about Shadow and Pepper, which is actually one of my favorite films with you, but you said it was a very bad shoot. Could you give details of that?
Because it was, yes, the detail was that the director, that Malkovich, who played Mona, the great director, was directing.
Yeah.
I liked that. And I was, of course, very jealous when I saw Willem Dafoe, because I would have loved to play being Nosferatu. But I had to play a producer, and it was who actually was the creator of Mona. And no, I mean, I liked the film. They edited it for, I think, a year. So they really made a good film out of it. But I didn't have, to be honest, I didn't have a good time doing the shooting.
You had the best lines.
Well, lines not only do it. I mean, you're not making a radio play where people hear your voice. They have to see you.
Thank you.
Oh, look, a line. Finally, I have a line. Okay, what's the line? What's your name? What's the autograph? What's your name? Okay. No. Yes, sir.
Mr. Kier, when you were growing up, were you a fan of the horror movie genre?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, you know, you see films like the original Nosferatu, of course, which was, I collect modern art all my life. I have an art collection, I collect furniture, American furniture, and things like that. No, the visualizing thing, and we always knew in Germany only the Hammer films, in Surprise, and Pendle of Death. It was always at midnight. Wow, the vampire. No, it was. I think it became an art form much later. It was at the beginning to shock people, like I did with a film with bombing bags. So I don't know. I liked Elizabeth Taylor. I was in love with Elizabeth Taylor when I was 13. And before she died, I went to Switzerland for an art convention in Basel. And I was with some artists, and it was so boring because the food didn't come, it took so long. And I said, I'm going to Elizabeth Taylor, give her a kiss. And all the artists said, you never will do that. Other way.
And just the final half of that question, once you began your acting career and you started performing all the horror movies,
No.
did you feel that maybe this was going to be your chosen area, or was you just going to do anything?
No, I was doing my first film. I played actually a pimp in Vienna, and then I did Mark of the Devil, and then actually when Paul Moisey, where are you going? I'm looking at the direction. You just look. How dare you? With Spencer, come back. So when Paul Moisey offered me Frankenstein and later Dracula, I would have never saw it because I was a young man and I didn't want my hair all back and have some false teeth in my mouth. I mean, they were made by a dentist. They were not the cheap one for $3.50. But through Dracula and Frankenstein, I got a feel for making horror films. Because horror films are great. I have people, especially women, that come to me and they say, you're so evil. But they say it like they have an orgasm. And that's true if you're evil that they have an orgasm. What can be better than that?
Mr. Kier, welcome to Texas.
Thank you.
Mike, you told a story earlier from the set of Melancholia, and I was wondering if you had any other good stories about working with Lars von Trier.
Yes, I do. First of all, his favorite line is, "Don't act." So his second favorite thing is to get all the stars of the world for nothing. So which is actually amazing. I mean, we had situation, a long table, and on the table was Ben Gazzara, Nicole Kidman, Lauren Bacall, James Caan, Louis Savigny, John Akbar, myself, and we had to go actually in the restaurant. We were staying in the hotel with our plate to get our food, and everybody was nice. There wasn't any, we had all the same trailer, which was actually a container. We lived all in the same container, and nobody was longer because Kidman had the same container than I did. We had the same car, Volvo, of course, we were shooting in Sweden, for free, got the cars for free. So nobody, and that is amazing. He gets all these people for $3,000 a week. Even Nicole Kidman, who makes 10 million, and everybody serves their food, and they all want to be actors. And that is great that somebody has this aura or this power to get all these people basically for free. And I remember I met him, I met Lars von Trier in Mannheim, which is a little festival town in Germany. And I had a little film, I made a little film myself, 10 minutes film. And my film was in competition with Lars at the opening night. And when we saw Element of Crime, his first film, I couldn't get off my seat. And the American directors were there, and I said to them, well, we all can go home, because whoever made that film is going to get the big prize. He did. The American said, but you think so? I said, yes, I do. And he got the big prize, and I said to the director of the festival, there's one bad.
We're doing good.
So, okay, then I can talk slow. So he, who cares? The argument took also, now it's me. It's me now. And the thing was, I said to the festival director, there's one person I would like to meet, the person who made this film. And I expected somebody like Kubrick or Fassbinder dressed in black in a bad mood scratching. So I thought he would be like that, totally intellectual. And then he came, and there comes this little boy with a sweater, and he said to me, I don't like festivals. He said, I went today by a square, there was a church, and the door, a big double door was open. And I heard the music, and I looked into the church, and I could see from behind, there was one person sitting in the first row. I went slowly by the side, and there was a woman, and she was just crying with no sound. And he said, that interests me. So I said, wow. And then I got a call from him, a couple of weeks later, and he said, I'm doing Medea, a script by Carl Theodor, and I would like that you play the Viking or king. You don't look like a Viking, so don't shave anymore, don't wash your hair, and come in 4 weeks in Denmark, because I have to present you as the king of the Viking. So I didn't shave, I didn't wash my hair, and I smelled, and I went there, and I got the part. And that was the first film we did together, and I remember, just to tell how he is, there was a scene. Well, must be something happened outside. There was a scene where I washed my hands in dark brown water with an iron shirt. My horse, a real horse, was standing next to me, 2 big dogs, and all the kings were staying, all the famous actors from the theater were staying, and one said, Jason, which was my name, and I turned and Lars said, stop, stop. And I was very irritated, and I said, what's wrong? He said, don't act. I forgot we had a star. Don't act. I gave you a horse, the symbol of masculinity. You're wearing an orange shirt. Don't act, just be a tired king. And that's in 25 years the honest thing he ever said to me. Be a tired king. Because when we did films like Dance in the Dark with Björk, for example, he used to take the camera himself, And then he saw the scene, and with Björk and myself, I met a doctor, and he said, I don't like it. I said, but you wrote it. So he said, improvise, it doesn't work, improvise. And I said to Björk, which was totally in concentration, I said, Björk, is this okay with you? And she went like, So we improvised, one take, and he said to me, thank you, you can go home, I got what I wanted. So he doesn't like when people act, because he's a very wonderful person. And I was an honor, because when I made the first film with him, he wanted me to be the godfather of his first child. And I said, gifts every year. And he said, no, he said, Udo, you have to sign, because if my wife and I have a car accident tomorrow and we die, I want you to be responsible for my child. Look, my hair is standing up. That was a compliment. So we work together, he gives me the script, and for like Nymphomania, for example, and I thought, if I get one of my body parts stuck in a train, people will be laughing. So I chose the role as the waiter, because I knew that would be the part which people really would like. Like, for example, you go already? Yeah.
So I got us an extra 15 minutes.
Anyway, so to close that film, I have to talk faster. Hello, there comes the featherhead. Hello. I hope you enjoy your autograph. And I chose the role of being the waiter, because Shia LaBeouf tells the young Charlotte Rampling to put the spoons in her pussy. And I'm the waiter, and I come to the table and said, I'm sorry, I forgot to bring you the spoons. So everybody knows where the spoons are. And at the end, I help her in the coat, and all the spoons fall on the floor, and I'm just standing there, unbelievable, watching. That was it. But you know, it's the smallest time sometimes it works. And I love him, and I hope I make all the films with him in the future, because he's one of the best directors.
Thank you so much for being here.
I know you were only on set. I'm sorry. It's a horror convention, I'm sorry.
It looks sexy, doesn't it? It's like Alice in the Borderland.
I think he just wants to know the designer.
I don't know, it's my wife's, so...
That's how she wants to see you.
Yeah, probably. Well, thank you for being here, and I know you were only on the set of the film Paranoia 1.0 for only 4 days, and apologies if this isn't one of the 50 films you would consider one of the good ones, but do you have any experiences you relate about that film in particular?
Well, I was there for 2 weeks.
Oh, you were? Okay.
You got the number that I was there for 4 days.
Well, somebody lied to me.
But I got, yes, I got paid for 2 weeks. I was there 2 weeks. Deborah Agner, I like her very much. Jeremy Sisko was wonderful. And yeah, it was 2 directors, which is not so easy to work with 2 directors, because automatically as an actor, you work only with 2 directors the first day. And then you see where you switch it to. And they were very intelligent, because there was always only 1 person present, so I didn't have to. What you said. So I like the film, I like the idea, and yeah, I like that film.
Thank you very much. Essentially, yeah. It was a very intriguing performance to me, so thank you.
Hello.
Hello. It's you again.
Yes. Okay, I've noticed one thing specifically in your movies. You always have really extravagant death scenes, such as cigarette burns and Flesh for Frankenstein and Blood for Dracula. How do you prepare yourself for those fantastic death scenes?
Well, I tell the director, first of all, that I don't close my eyes when I'm dying. So I always die with open eyes. because I can fix myself. I need a point when I die. I need a point, a red tape on the wall where I fix myself. And cigarette burns was wonderful. I always wanted to work with John Carpenter. And we met, he wanted to meet me for coffee and decide if we could connect. And he just got his coffee, and before he took the first step, he said, okay, we will work together. So we met the movie because I like to see when they put a false skin on me and they had about 100 sausages underneath. And when he brings me the film, I put it, because I'm a rich man, I have a whole film projector, and I put it when I open my stomach, I take one sausage in the machine, and then I put it on, and blah, 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 blah. It was like a meat factory. And I like it because, you see, in private life, our preparation, in private life, I'm totally the opposite of what I present in films. I like to cook. My friends say I'm a good cook. If I invite people for dinner, they don't make me compliments and enjoy the food, they never be invited again. And I rescue dogs, and I'm a gardener. I like to play the garden. And when I make movies, I like to play evil because I want to. It's like my colleague who got 2 Oscars. He in Glorious Bastards, he was Christoph Waltz was so amazing because he played this evil character but with so much joy. So it's like that's what I like to do, accept and him to do something evil, because if you take an evil person playing evil, it doesn't work. You cannot be evil privately and I don't know, go around shooting people and then play something like that. But you have to have the joy with it. And I don't prepare myself. I mean, they prepare me for the script. But I died a lot of times. Yeah.
I would simply watch a show of you cooking and gardening, by the way. Would you guys?
My favorite dish is pasta with shrimps and lemongrass, and my recipe is always first very good olive oil, a lot of garlic and onions, and then the rest comes.
Thank you for coming. One of my favorite roles of yours was the baby in Lars von Trier's The Kingdom. Why did the show never get finished? Why did it stop after the 2nd season? And were you disappointed that with the labyrinth of subplots it never did get completed?
Well, he was born. I mean, we had a contract, and I was very proud of it. We had a contract with the actors for 30 years to make a film called Dimension. And there was 30 years of shooting. And we met every year. We met one day and shot 3 minutes. And the premiere would have been in the year 2024, in which we were not allowed to talk to the press about it, what we were doing. And it was interesting, because there was also, I can talk about it now because the film started. There was a kind of a column, 30 columns in a kind of a building somewhere in Denmark. And every year we just, in the same costume, we're going from one column to the next one. And you could edit it because it was on the side of the column. And I thought, oh, that's great. I will get it in 2024, I will get 30 years older in one scene, no makeup, go around. And he got bored, and we didn't do that film called Dimension. I think you can buy it now. And the hospital scene, when he told me I play a baby, and I was born, so they built this real big woman's body, and I was inside, and I was lying on a piece of wood, like, you know, the mechanics have in the garage, with little wheels, and I was lying there, I shaved my head, and blood and slime, and I couldn't rehearse, because I would have destroyed the model, and then I heard from far away, action, and I tried to get out of couldn't just fuck it. So I really took a lot of energy and I came out and I went like, that was the day I was born. And he played a baby and it was amazing. It was amazing and only, I wouldn't do that with just anybody. I mean, you have to have a director with a certain sensibility. But he was bored for the third part, so we didn't do that.
Are you personally disappointed that it didn't get a conclusion?
No, I make other films.
Thank you.
I'm not depend only on that film. I can't, that would be hard.
I just
Hello.
want to say
What's
that
that t-shirt?
Oh, it's Deadpool.
Okay. Oh.
I just want to say that I'm always here. Yeah, Deadpool.
I don't know. Pitbull or something.
Just want to say after all these years, you still smell terrific, sir.
What's that?
That you still smell terrific.
Yes, Mr. Yes, it was like Courtney Cox presented me to Jim Carrey and he said, it was improvised, I mean, nobody was understanding that you smell terrific, and I just went like, thank you.
He does smell terrific, by the way.
Handmade.
And
Out in Texas. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I was curious, you talked earlier about, all the directors that you've worked with.
Yeah.
Many fantastic ones. And you talked about approaching directors that you want to work with, or say that. Who are the directors you would want to work with that you haven't had a chance to?
David Lynch. Because I was actually, when I came to America and I did my first film on Private Idaho with Lars von Trier, who discovered me. I met him in Berlin at the festival because I told him before I'm a lucky person. It was Lars von Trier and he presented in Berlin a film which he did for $20,000 called Mala Noche. And at the party, he said to me, I like your videos, like the Frankenstein Dracula. I'm making a film with River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves. I've never heard of them, of course. They were very young. And I have a role, Hans, because in America in a film you always call Hans. In Japan you're Hansman. So it's always the Hans, German Hans. I said, oh my God, they all talk at festival. Because festival is a very long place. Because everybody is selling, everybody has to talk. For example, in Canada, after 2 days, I go the opposite direction to the harbor where nobody is from the industry and have my lunch there. And he said, I said, okay, he's talking. But then he was the one who got me the work permit. And I came to as Hans to Portland and we shot the film, and it was a very intense situation, the film, because River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves, when I had my first scene, they wanted to be driven just in front of me and they wanted to watch me how I do it. And they were sitting there in the van, watching me, and then after the scene where I massaged the motorbike, and the policeman said to me, "You must like your bike." I said, I just had sex with the boys. So then they came to me and said, "Well, congratulations, you're in the movie." So they were very strong, both of them, and so that's that's the thing.
Great. Well, I know we got to wrap it up here in front of
No, we're not.
Before, no? Okay, no, we're not. We're going to make him come take us off stage.
30 minutes.
Okay, tell me a great fan story, because you get all kinds of interesting gifts and strange things. What's been an interesting and weird fan experience for you?
Well, I have two fans. I don't want to mention the name, and one fan is actually the reason why I'm in America, because there's a woman, I don't say her name, I have to be careful, and she wrote me in Germany every week a letter, "You have to come to America, America needs you," and I did. And another fan is a nice story. A woman has my face tattooed on her stomach. And I said in an interview, I said, people go so far. They do it. And I went to a convention. I only did, this is the number 4. I never did not too many conventions. And I was in London signing autographs, and all of a sudden this beautiful woman comes and she stands in front of my table. She takes her shirt off and says, "That's me." I think it's ridiculous. And she's a professor, actually, at the university. Imagine, we became friends. I mean, imagine her poor husband seeing me on the stomach. Shower with me. She goes to bed.
That's fantastic. Well, we're so happy that you came here to Texas. Oh, we got one more? Let's close it out real fast.
Will you finish the Elizabeth Taylor story?
Yes, I thought that guy was rude, not let me finish the story, because I did kiss her. So after all the artists, I was sitting there and I said, I'm kissing Elizabeth Taylor. They said, you never do that, you never do that. And then after 3 glasses of red wine, I took a rose out of the decoration. And I went over, Audrey Hepburn was speaking on stage. I went over to Elizabeth Taylor, gave her the rose, gave her a kiss and said, "You're so beautiful." And all the bodyguards jumping up and left. So I can say I'm one of the few persons who kissed Elizabeth Taylor. Well, I want to tell you something before we go, because he's already kicking me under the arm. So it's the first time I'm here, and you know you have this image of Texas. And I have a ranch, and I have a cowboy hat, and I have cowboy boots, snake leather. So I have the skin of the snake, and I like it. And a convention like this is very sensitive, and you meet nice people. You know, you meet people also who tell you stupid stories, but that's, and they don't buy a photograph, they just want to talk. So, I'm a man, and I say, yeah. I like it after, oh yeah, okay. So, but I like it here. I came yesterday, and I went to the bar. And there was a few birthdays, so there was a lot of what is this thing called? Cinnamon schnapps, fireball. I had a lot of fireball, and I think one of the person who works there, Scott, he brought me to the room, to the door, and I woke up this morning, I didn't know where I was. Why is the bed so big? King size. Okay, that's the best way of finishing. King size, Texas king size. Have a good time. And now I go back. I hope there will be a lot